Hey guys, you all ready to play some D&D? I'm ready.
Yeah.
Kay, how do you feel about giving us a recap of what transpired last game session?
I'm feeling pretty good. I did make way too many notes, at least 10 pages front and back, so it's been hard to kind of condense them into something coherent, but I tried. So let's go. All right, so last time we were kindly interrogating Darren, a cultist who is no longer mind controlled, but permanently altered. Last thing he said, "Do not let the emberless flame get you." We go, "What?" He goes, "Truth is what cannot be remembered." And then after a little bit of poking and prodding, we find out a little about how the cult thinks about itself. Their true savior is wanting to burn it all down to reshape the world, whilst also saying that they will save the world and people from the flames, which they are bringing on the people. So I'm a little bit confused. The man is in immense pain and guilt, kind of feeding the pain. He feels responsible for being part of the cult that released the eternal flame on the world, who is a man, a demon. They sacrificed anyone who they believed was unworthy. The Emberless, we think are crazy idea, maybe Sombrius, but may just be some guy. So we'll see about that. Mira pulls a really fucking sick move. She undoes the bindings on her hand, and she's like, "You cannot heal until you face what you fear." It was really sick. Anyway, we might pilgrimage to the Anvil in the Emberlands, which is like where someone might have done some forging stuff. And apparently, if we listen to Kellisnor, he says that we're going to have our worlds rocked if we go. So maybe not. Anyway, then we went to go kindly interrogate the woman that Sisk helped avoid death. Her name is it Liren? Is that right? Yeah, Liren. Okay. She's pretty fragile. She does not look crazy anymore. Her robes have been removed. Her paint has been washed up her face. Her hair's been fixed. The malice is gone. Brent has to get over kind of the PTSD of her coming at him with a knife. And he does. So good for him. She's a fire genasi. Everything kind of fused in her mind like a nightmare. She mentions the emberless flame took her through the flame portals, I believe, which is what the weird hole in the ground in the earth was in that cave we were in. Fire genasi are usually the cultists because they can kind of survive that trip through, even though I think it's still very painful for them. You probably don't need to know that, but that's what I have in my notes. Made me only believe power of the flame. All recruited. Oh, he is a man. That means he's vulnerable. Wren fought. Basement and I don't know. More stuff about the Kurakash. I didn't get this far in my condensing. But, something about the Pale Herald. Hopefully Miko will fill me in on what that is. It's not Kurakash. Aligned with the Emberless Flame. Created Shadow Staff the Flame wields. Okay. And that's the end of my notes from last time. So we did a lot. We did a lot of talking.
Amazing. Yeah, that's really good job condensing. Wow. Just to clarify for you, the Pale Herald is a figure that Loren believes is associated to the cult, but she doesn't know or didn't know if they were an actual member of the cult or not. And you don't know who that is or anything, but they would have to be very powerful to craft an artifact of power like what was described. And then you left out a very important part, unfortunately, Kay. You left out the part where Wren attempted to delve into the mind of Loren to try and perhaps learn through Loren's memories that she could possibly dredge up. And in doing so, Wren didn't get very far within the memories before in seeing some portion of the ritual, apparently, that brought Loren into the fold of the cult. Some kind of magical backlash occurred, and it sent him reeling back and falling unconscious to the ground. And that was where we concluded.
Oh, I'm unconscious. Okay.
With a single flaming tear rolling down his cheek is what I wrote.
With a single flaming tear burning, searing the skin of his cheek.
Can I just say one thing? Because it's in the forefront of my mind. Yeah. I love a good K recap, because K, every so often you go, ooh, and it's like you're opening a gift. You're like, and this happened. I enjoy that. Okay, I'm done. I'll lock it in now.
Yeah, love you, K. And just so it is on video and we have proof of it, Beth will be responsible for the next recap. It's on the internet. It's never going to go away now, Beth. Don't be scared.
I'm not scared. I'm excited.
Sure you are. So, we will pick right up where we left off with Mira and Sisk, aka Serval, as well as Tig, and Terathos, all standing in the atrium space where you had been having your discussions with Loren. Because I didn't give you all an opportunity to react to the circumstance, I'm going to start, because Terathos is also going to react, obviously, but I'm going to start with our players here. What would the two of you and or Tig do? And just for recollection's sake, 80 had to depart early to go and prepare the airship, ostensibly to for whatever pending departure it's going to have. So 80 is not present in this scene. What would Mira and Sisk and or Tig do in response to what transpired?
Can I make an Arcana check to see if I can figure out if this is like a sort of magical unconsciousness?
I don't even think Mira needs to do an Arcana check. I think Mira probably felt the magical backlash. Couldn't see it because it was more or less invisible, and you don't have any kind of detect magic or anything like that up, or any arcane sight, so to speak. But I think that you could feel the recoiling. What I will say is you both could technically do this. Why don't you both go ahead and roll a perception check for me? Because there's something else that you might be able to notice.
Are you going to use your... Oh, that's great. Okay, I'm going to roll now, because at least I feel pretty confident now. Nat 20, let's fucking go. 26.
Yes.
Fuck yes. So both of you, I'm assuming, Deb, you have a positive modifier to perception, and you 22. Got over 20. Yeah.
Yep.
So both of you are able to notice very clearly in the action that takes place as Bren is basically flung a few feet back onto his backside and then collapsing backwards unconscious with the tear rolling down. You can also see the tears running down Loren's face as well as she staggers back into unconsciousness. And both of you can see a manifestation of flaming magic around her hands for a few moments before it fades. I think Mira more so. Well, Sisk, you're not bad with Arcana as well, so I'll just give it to the both of you. Certainly, Mira, Kay, you can decide for Sisk whether or not they would understand this, but Mira would understand that whatever gifts that she possessed as a flame bearer are still present. Even though the curse has ostensibly been cleansed from her thanks to the work of Terathos and Kelisnor, she still possesses that magic of flame and shadow within her. And so whatever transpired, the fact that she is unconscious now as well, you'd probably be able to suss out that it was some kind of magical, like instinctive sense of self-preservation to whatever Wren was doing. It's hard to say whether or not she had control of it or was doing it intentionally or not. But you would have seen that manifestation as she collapses. So that's all you all get, like that. All of that occurs within moments of this happening. So what would you two do?
How can I ascertain how serious this is? Like, does this need intervention?
For who? Who are you checking? Wren or Loren?
I'm checking Bren first.
Okay, go ahead and give me either a medicine or arcana check for Bren. And while you're rolling that, Deb, what would Mira do?
I think seeing Serval go to Bren, she would glance at Terathos and see if he's reacting at all.
Okay, so you give a moment for Terathos to do his thing. He's going to Loren. He does look down at Bren, but he seems more concerned about Loren in this moment. Yeah, so you see him going to Loren.
I think I would ask, what can I do?
See to your friend. And you can tell very clearly that he's already starting to manifest his divine healing, the small amount that he has to help Loren.
Yeah, like definitely come help me.
What'd you get on your check there, Kay?
I haven't rolled yet. I was thinking about using, excuse me, borrowed knowledge. I don't have proficiency in Arcana. I have a half proficiency.
Yeah.
Would full proficiency help me at all?
I mean, it would increase your modifier to your roll, but in this moment, it's not going to yield you any additional information unless the roll is good.
Okay, no, I'll just try to roll. Oh, let me see. I think I have an advantage left, I hope.
We had it in chat a little bit ago. Let me scroll up. Pretty sure everybody had at least one.
Yeah,
I can't
I'll
find
just
it now.
assume so I will roll with advantage then, please.
So you're going to use an advantage. Varl will update that in a second.
23.
Yeah. Was that Arcana? So with an Arcana check, I think you can tell very clearly that there is no like labored breathing or like seizure type activity or, crazy eyes or anything like that. There's no telltale signs of any kind of magical affliction or curse that can happen in these types of instances. So you think that the tier of flame is very likely just you feel like that's the extent of it in this moment. That is the magic, the backlash of magic that railed against Bren, and that's how his body processed it.
Yeah.
It's probably going to leave a bit of a mark. Who knows
I'll wipe
when
off
it'll
the
heal.
fire tears.
As you do that, you can feel the heat of it. It almost burns the tips of your fingers, but you like very quickly, it's kind of like putting your hands on a hot pan on a stove. You do it, you feel the heat, and then you shake it off. And since you didn't hold your hand to it, you're fine.
Cool. I'll put in a cure wounds as well, just to see if there's any burning at all,
Sure.
just to try and
Yeah.
deal
So
with
as
that.
you start to summon that magic, what's Mira do?
I think Mira's been sort of, as Serval is doing this, Mira has been kneeling by Bren and just casting resistance to fire damage just to see if like there's anything internal that she can't see, just to keep that buff up in case he needs it.
Yeah. So as the two of you kind of expend this magic, you can look over and you can see Terathos also using his own magic on Wren. As you look over, you can see that he is a bit concerned, and she seems to be suffering from like some labored breathing situation going on. And as you are taking care of Wren, you can tell that he is stable. There isn't anything wrong with him in this moment. He's just unconscious.
I'm going to ask Tig to go get a cleric or two just in case.
Okay. Tig goes in search of a cleric. Terathos is mildly offended, but, it's fine. And you all...
I'm going to say out loud, you look concerned.
Always concerned. And he has his hand upon Loren's forehead, and slowly over the course of a minute, her labored breathing comes under control. And in that time, the entire situation feels a little, the tension of it kind of subsides a bit for the both of you. You can feel very clearly that whatever awfulness happened has probably passed, at least for the moment. You can only await Wren waking up. Hello, kitten. Yes, hi. You can only await Wren waking up to find out what he saw. And you don't know how long that's going to be.
It's probably not very restful, but we could carry him back to the ship. We could just wait here till he wakes up. I don't know.
Terathos will say, as you comment on that, he'll say, "We'll find him a place to rest." And that's when, a minute later, Tig comes back and he has a couple of acolytes with him. The acolytes come in. There's a discussion that happens between Terathos and the acolytes. And Terathos tells one of them, actually, I think Terathos would tell the two of them to take care of Wren and take her back to her chambers to rest. And then Terathos will come over and request Tig's assistance to pick up Wren.
Absolutely.
And so the two of them are able to hoist Wren up and start taking him to what you hope to be a rest chamber, and eventually discover it's basically the place that you all had been sleeping the night before.
So am I completely out? No thought or whatever, just the deepest sleep?
I don't think it's necessarily the deepest sleep. I think it's almost like when you are half asleep and you think you know what's going on around you, but you really don't. So you would probably have vague recollections of this when you wake up, of being moved and voices, being raised and, feeling the magic that Sisk and Mira use upon you.
Okay.
But that is interspersed with scenes of flame and a woman screaming in agony.
Okay.
That doesn't sound fun.
No.
You... I think that bothers Brent. I'm sorry. I think when they put him down in the sleep chamber, it goes into bear mode, but he's just still out. So now there's just this huge bed in the middle of, or bear in the middle of the room.
I think Terathos would probably look to Sisk and have a quizzical expression. Does he always do that?
When he's comfortable sometimes, and when he's not comfortable. And when he wants to have fun.
That's a lot of times.
He likes being a bear.
Peculiar.
Well, again, thank you, Terathos. We really appreciate everything you've been helping us with so far. And
Of course. I'm glad to be of assistance. It's one of the vows. Speaking of, I should go and have a conversation with Kelesnor. Let me know if you need anything.
Do you mind if I walk with you? I have something to ask you.
Of course. If you need anything, and he looks at Sisk, an acolyte will be in the hall.
oh, awesome. I will definitely go talk to them. I can leave you guys to it. I'm going to go talk to the acolyte.
Okay. Do you leave Tig to look over Bren?
Yeah, for now. Yeah. Or, well, no.
No, I think that's perfect. That's perfect because Bren will just be laying there as a bear form, and I imagine Tig like standing stoically, just staring
Directly at him, yeah.
directly at him. Okay, so Terathos heads off to Kelesnor's offices, Mira in tow. Did you want to discuss anything with him on that journey, or wait until after you reach Kelesnor?
I think she would try to make small talk for a little bit. And it's not working very well because there's clearly something on her mind. And so I think finally she takes a deep breath and says, "You asked when you met me if you could call me Lightbearer, and I didn't feel worthy of that title or name. I would like to earn it. You mentioned vows just now, and you spoke earlier of oaths. What is involved in such a thing?"
It's not a simple question. For me, my vows came first. They were for the people that saved me. They were for the people that mentored me, that dug me out of the pits from which I came. The oaths came later. The oaths came when I found my purpose, when I devoted myself to protecting those that needed it, when I understood the meaning of sacrifice for others. Elesnor taught me a great deal for that. But in the end, it was what was. And he reaches forward and places a thick and firm finger on her sternum. It was what was here, as he points into your chest. That is where the oath truly took hold. Allowed me to grow beyond the notions that I had thought would be heroic. Why do you think so poorly that you cannot
hold the title that has been gifted to you.
I feel that I have been given this, and she pulls out the Heart of Orlumis. And I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to channel my path. I think I've been drifting for a while, and for so long my sister was my purpose. And she is outgrowing her need for me, and I think it's time for me to find my own path.
See, I cannot say that I walk should serve as inspiration for anyone, because it is the path that difficult for most and unique to the person walking it. I could tell you of the oaths that I took. I could tell you of the meaning of them to me and what they represent at great length. But in the end, your oaths only matter if you are stalwart enough to keep them. I am humbled every day that I walk because of the people that I protect and the gifts of friendship, of knowledge, of just being with them that they bestow upon me. You say that you are lost and that your purpose is changing, when in reality, that sounds like life. That sounds like every day that we live. Things change, we adapt, we grow. You don't need oaths to live a life. But if you feel as though the life that you are living matters, not just to you, but to those that you care for, then formulate your oath. Dedicate yourself to a purpose. Bind your soul to that purpose. And whatever change happens, whatever direction you take, whatever path you walk, it will have meaning. Because you dedicate yourself to it.
What if I fail?
You will. Over and over again. Everyone does.
It was easier when it was just my sister to be concerned about.
Was it? Was it easier? Or do you just think that it was? I don't know any of my siblings. I didn't bond with them. But I can tell you that it doesn't matter who I fail or how many times I am unable to do enough. It always hurts. It always causes me to think about my oaths and my vows and question if I didn't, well, then I would be a zealot. And what good would there be for that? I have seen too many people take up the cause of zealotry. I have seen too many use their faith or their oaths or their vows in ways of evil, intentionally or not. They don't question what they do. They don't feel that doubt. And that is the downfall. That is what will end a life with purpose. Whether you take oaths or not, always remember this. Oaths are merely words. It's what you feel inside, what you do in service to those oaths. That's what matters most. And if circumstances change and your belief in yourself wavers, and it will, your oath can help you through it. But only if you allow it. Only if you truly feel that dedication to a path.
Vera looks down at her hand that's bandaged once again. They did this to me. Maybe not on purpose, but they delighted in it.
Is it vengeance that you seek?
Justice. An easier way for people like Wren to not get caught in their web.
You see this smoke kind of trail out of his nostrils. See a bit of lightning arc around the ridges of his eye socket.
Be careful what you ask for when you take such an oath. Because it very easily can tip towards vengeance when you don't mean it to.
I understand.
I doubt that you do, but you will. You will understand. I may not be a wizened sage like Kelesnor, but if there's one thing that I know, it is that the balance of your oath is a difficult one. You'll be challenged. If you let that challenge forge you, you can come out the other side of it stronger, with purpose. But if you let it break you, you will only hurt the ones closest to you. So be careful. Don't forget to ask for help when you need it as well.
I think her eyebrow quirks a little bit, reflexively at that. I shall take your advice to heart.
Good.
And it's around this time that you arrive at Kelesnor's offices, his personal forge, his sanctuary. Terathos knocks heavy-handedly, and there's a beckoning inside, and Kelesnor welcomes the both of you in. There's a brief exchange between Kelesnor and Terathos, where Terathos is discussing the events. I think it is worth mentioning that he refers to Wren. He refers to Wren as the gifted. And you don't necessarily know what that means, but it stands out to you in the conversation. And he couches it in terms of, like, Wren's going to be fine, I think, that sort of thing. Certainly no cause for concern, but he uses that term. And before you can really question it, Terathos turns to you, and then, like, as a gesturing towards you, and tells Kelesnor that you had questions for him. Kelesnor finishes kind of cleaning his hands from whatever work he had been doing, and he turns his attention towards you, his glowing red eyes staring at you. It's kind of hard to read him when he doesn't have, pupils. But you're perhaps starting to get used to it now that you've met him. This is your third or fourth meeting? So he turns towards you and says, "Yes? What is it?"
Don't mean to take up your time. I'm sure you're very busy. But I had a chance to speak with Byron earlier.
Oh, yes. Good lad. Very good lad.
He mentioned that you might be able to help me with making something similar for my own hand.
Oh. I'm not certain how... There's certainly similarities, but that would take a great deal of artifice. I
believe we're leaving soon, and so I don't expect you to help make it. We have a blacksmith on our ship, and so I wonder if you just have plans or schematics or anything that would give us a starting point.
I can provide that, yes, but you should be advised that this is no simple task for a blacksmith. There is arcana involved, there is invention, artifice. It's a great deal more complicated than simply forging steel. Which, by the way, I don't recommend steel for the use of it. Use a lighter alloy or metal than steel. It's much too cumbersome to work with, even with the magic. And he just kind of goes off and then stops himself. Yes, one moment. And you see him go over to one of his shelves, and he starts rifling through a variety of scrolls and books and the like. And after a few moments, he comes back over, and he has a trio of rolled up scrolls, and he's tying them off, and he hands them out to you. And you also see a very small book. It's like it's more of a notebook than, a full, tome or anything like that. And he holds both of them out to you. And he says, I do believe that you will be able to understand some of this, given your gifts of the arcane and your knowledge shared with Orlumus. But be careful. This is no easy thing that you undertake.
I gathered as much from Byron. Serval is a bit of an artificer, and so I think between myself and Serval and our blacksmith friend, we, with a lot of luck and hope, can make something usable.
I will offer prayer to you. See what luck that can provide.
Thank you for everything.
Of course. I assume then that you are off seeking the one who was lost.
We're not certain where we'll start looking yet, but we have a few leads.
All right. If you would be willing, I will provide sendings to you periodically if we learn anything of the cult.
I would appreciate that.
No, that's not right. I almost suggested you have a safe journey. That's not likely to happen now, is it? I will hope, then, that your friend is returned to you unharmed.
Thank you. She bows sort of deeply.
He kind of returns it, not quite as deep. You think that might just be more of a function of he's a massive man than anything else. He looks at Kellisnor, and there's like the wordless exchange between them and kind of nods. He looks at Terathos. Kellisnor looks at Terathos. And Terathos bows his head and starts escorting you from the room. As you get out of the room, Terathos kind of looks at you and says,
I don't know what it is that you hope to find when you look through that invention. But remember, Byron came through the other side of his turmoil because of what was in his heart and his mind. The invention was merely a doorway that he stepped through.
He said something similar.
He's a good kid.
And given what you know of Dragonborn, you probably are figuring that Terathos is younger than him.
If there's anything else you need, I'll be here. And if we find any more of the cultists, we will attempt to save them, or we will end them. But in either case, we learn anything, we'll let you know.
We will do the same.
When you return, let me know if you earned the title Lightbearer.
And he just kind of places a giant clawed hand on your shoulder comfortingly as that could possibly be.
I will.
And he walks away.
I will head back toward where we left Bren.
So as you come back to where you left Bren, Sisk, Serval, rather, is in the hallway in deep conversation with an acolyte over things of artifice and focused very great deal on Tig. You get a sense that Tig has made a very powerful impression on the temple and the denizens of it. But yes, Mira, you come up, you find them in discussion, and it's around that time you hear a heavy thud as Bren rolls out of bed and falls upon the ground as a giant bear.
And another thing. Oh, hold that thought. I'll be right back. Hey, Mira, did you hear that thud?
Hopefully it's a big grumpy man.
Or
waking
grumpy.
up.
Let's go find out. Oh, I had an acolyte go see. I wanted to send a message to our friend Zyra and get her to meet us on the ship because we have a few updates. So
Yeah.
So you sent a messenger to Zyra's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or wherever she would be. Or, yeah.
Well, House Valen.
Yeah, House Phelan, sorry.
Yeah.
House Phelan. But let's get in here.
Yes,
Great.
you head into the room.
Okay.
You see Bren groggily waking up, and Tig there trying to get Bren on all fours. Back to his feet. That sounded wrong. Back to his feet. You're muted.
Probably for the best. Yeah, no, all fours is fine because he can talk through. He can talk through.
Yeah.
His form now, so he's just a bear. And he's sitting up. He's like, what happened? What?
You're looking back and forth between Sisk and Mira, and Tig is just kind of staring at the two of them too.
How do you feel?
My head hurts really bad, and I had these weird dreams, and it's warm in here. Are you warm? I'm very warm.
I think I'm... Maybe.
What?
Sure, yes. Do you feel well enough? I think we probably should head back toward the ship. Serval sent a note to have Zyra meet us there, and 80 went back that way, so I think we're regrouping at the ship to figure out what's next.
Okay, that sounds like a solid plan. And he gets to try and stand up on his 2 feet, and then just over, and he's like, "Have I been like this the entire time?"
Most of it, I think, yeah. So we were trying to figure out what happened to Wren, and then there was something happened, and you two kind of blasted apart. You had one single fiery tear. I hope you didn't get a permanent burn, but I tried to fix that. I think that something, I don't know, some self-defense magic in her system blasted you, and the tear hopefully worked itself out of your system.
It is worth mentioning, now that you bring up the tear, there is a patch of white fur trailing back from the corner of Bren's bare eye, back towards the side of his head.
Well, has Bren looked in the mirror at himself while he's a bear? Does he know what his bear form looks like?
Mm-mm. Never really had the opportunity.
But
Is
you
there
all
a
know what his
mirror?
bear form looks like, and you
Yeah.
know that that's not normal.
That's not normal. It does look like your bear form has a little streak, but it makes you look distinguished. An older gentleman bear.
What do you mean?
I hope the magic has gone through your system. You said you were having some weird dreams. Maybe it's like a
Yeah, it was a mix between. I kind of remember you all bringing me here, but it was a mix between moments of that and then screams, like very deep. It was not good. It was honestly what Laren had described to us.
So you got to see it, I guess.
Yeah, it just wasn't good. It wasn't good at all.
Hopefully that won't happen again.
Why are you so cheery? What did you all do while I was asleep?
They're really interested in Tig, so I've been just chatting away. So I'm having a great time.
The two of you, both of your demeanor is making me very uncomfortable. What did you do?
I look at Mira. I have Tig to look at Mira.
We were just talking with people here.
Yeah, what did you do, though?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? And again, it's just still bear form. It's just giving you... What do you mean?
Listen, I found some potential schematics for a cool thing to help with this.
Are you trying to say gauntlet? Is that what you're trying to say? Right? It's a gauntlet,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Because we agreed that we're not replacing... Let's go to the boat. And then he just keeps walking as a bear. He's just not, he doesn't change. He just keeps walking out as
This
a
is
bear.
my pet bear now, I guess.
You
your
get a
little tutu.
distinct impression that Tig wants to ride Bren.
Absolutely not. Well, Tig has done so much for us, I guess, for a small bit. Tig, just a little bit.
No, I mean, Sisk gets that impression. Tig can't say it, right? And so I
I'll
don't
say
think
it out
Bren
loud.
would. Oh, never mind.
I
Okay,
will
it
say-
got said.
I'll be like, Tig really, a favor back. Yeah, he carries us. He gets a ride
Hey.
every once in a while, maybe.
Thanks, Kayla Janelle, for the gift subs. Awesome. We got some really cool people in our community. Did you guys know that?
I did.
So does Bren let Tig ride the bear?
Just wow, that sounds really bad. Yeah, we let Tig ride the bear, because Tig does so much for us. The least I could do is to give him a bear back ride. I said it. Okay, we're moving forward.
All right. So you cart your way through the town at some brief interlude, and it really does need to be brief because Tig's heavy. He's heavy and made of metal. So that's not going to be a pleasant experience for Bren. So however brief that might be, you do start making your way through the town. You get more than a few strange looks, of course, as a bear is walking through the town, but given that he isn't causing any mayhem and he's flanked by the strangers and such, the foreign visitors, I don't think that there's any significant. No one calls anything out for him, for you guys. As
what did they do when he turns and goes, hello, morning, hello, like as a bear?
Well, it's weird because it's that strange kind of magical speak that because of the ear cuff that you have, and so it's like superimposed bear growl, Bren's normal voice, and then a translated magical version in Kuvalian or in Truscan speech, and so you get like triple takes from it. There's more than a few children that have to be like grabbed onto that just want to run at you, and you know their parents don't want that to happen. So, but yeah. So eventually, you all will make it back to your airship. Beth, what has 80 been up to on the airship since arriving back?
Vibing, for one. No, she went back to the ship, relayed information thus far to primarily Phelan at this point. But I would imagine that, you know, others might gather to hear more info. And I let them know that the plan is for, you know, everyone to come back to the ship at some point. I don't really know when that is because who knows how long these things take. So I think she's been gathering supplies and things for like different potential routes that they would take, and just like creating a backpack for herself for each possible outcome.
Okay. I feel like it is worth mentioning that Oriana is still giving 80 a bit of the cold shoulder. She's not feeling anything from Oriana, which means Oriana has her defenses up. And when discussions start happening about things, Oriana doesn't overly contribute to the conversation. And once, you know, she feels like she understands the situation, she just politely excuses herself.
Well, hell. I think 80 would turn to Phelan, actually, after all of that, and just be like, is she okay? I feel like she's been, you know, a little off.
I mean, yeah, she's not doing great since, you know, since you left her behind.
Oh no.
I've only gotten a little bit of it, and it's been kind of a second-hand situation. She hasn't told me anything directly. That's not how Ori is. But yeah, she was pretty crestfallen when a lot of you left for your gallivant in the city without her. I know that was it was a couple of days ago now, and you know a lot has happened since then. So I don't think she expects you to do anything about it, but yeah, she was a bit hurt, I think. I mean, I
yeah,
would
of course. Oh, Jesus. I mean, do you think now is a good time to go talk to her?
I genuinely will not ever answer questions like that.
Come on.
No. I have enough issues with my own mental health. I don't need to be delving into the mental health of
Fair, that's fair.
two perfectly reasonable adult ladies trying to sort out something. That is, nope, not for me.
Failing for mayor. Smart person.
Phelan's in a sort of
know.
relationship with Mira. Phelan knows better.
Yeah, I think 80 would. I think she'd swing by the kitchen and make a cup of tea and go find Oriana.
You make 1 cup of tea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I make 1 cup of tea.
Okay. You make your cup of tea. You search the ship. Cannot find her until you start heading below decks into the crew cabins. And the only place that you think she could reasonably is in her cabin, and the door is closed.
I'll knock on the door.
You knock on the door.
And wait.
A tiny slip of paper comes out from underneath of the door.
I take it and look at it.
It's very tiny slip of paper. There's some ink, words written in ink upon it. 2 words. Not now. Make a perception check for me.
$24.
The ink is dry. And 80 is astute enough to know that, she's dealing with a diviner. So.
Yeah. I think she would just deflate a bit and take the cup of tea and put it right outside the door. And she would just say, there's tea out here for you, but I'll go. And she'll walk away.
You get to the stairs leading up, and as you reach the top, you hear her door open and then close. You okay there, Kay?
Damn it.
Are you seriously, Kay? Check in. Are you okay? All right. You get back up into the kitchen. You find Phelan sitting at a table, a cup of tea in front of them. How'd it go?
Not as I had hoped, but it's not about me. She needs space. And so I'm going to give it to her.
Then. Good luck with all that.
Thanks. I feel like you really mean it, you jerk.
I didn't deserve that. And
I know.
They just pick up their tea and they start walking up to the upper deck.
Oh, jeez. Fucking... Okay. Good talk.
You do anything else while you wait for your friends? Do you shatter any more relationships on board the ship?
No, I think 80 will go up on deck and just find a place to sit for a while, in view of the road from the city leading back to the ship, waiting for the rest of her friends.
Okay. A few hours go by before you see them in the distance. How long can Wren maintain bear form?
Technically, it's an hour.
Is it just an hour? I thought it was like half your level or something. I don't know what it is in the new version of Druids, so.
Sorry, there's so much here. I'm going to look it up, but for the sake of the story, he's back to Bryn mode.
Okay. Yeah, you see your companions in the distance, making their way to the ship. As you all arrive, you see 80 up above decks. By this point, you will also see pretty much everyone except Ori up above decks, kind of waiting for you. You all, the ladder is kicked over. You all make your way up. You are now standing on deck with the entire crew. Everyone is kind of looking at Wren at the moment.
What?
Dove kind of just clears his throat and says, Captain, what are we doing?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's my fault. A lot has happened in a short amount of time. I think he looks at 80 and Sisk in this moment. How deep into this do we want to tell them?
I mean, I don't want to explain it twice for when... are we saying Zaranthra or Zyra on the ship? I could say Zyra. When Zyra gets here. But let's give them an overview.
Our notes.
Yeah.
Okay. We haven't found Wren. That's the biggest problem. We believe that she was kidnapped by a cult that worships some type of fire demon thing. Mira here has been afflicted by said fire demon thing, but we're fixing that, hopefully with the powerful gauntlet. We spoke to 2 of the former cultists. It's bad. It's really bad. Apparently that giant hole that none of you know about because we never told you that we saw is a transport of pain and misery to another point to which the cultists use to travel. So we are going to gather further information in where to find said scary cult so that we can get Wren back and, have a little fun in the meantime. I'm trying to make light of a very scary and dangerous situation here because there is a child on the boat. If you have any questions, please hold them for after the press conference. We're going to have a visitor, make sure the ship is presentable.
You finish that spiel and everyone is kind of looking at you with strange expressions. Nora kind of just tilts her head and just looks disappointed and reaches down and takes Taryn's hand and says, come on, let's go make things presentable. Dove kind of steps forward and just claps you on the shoulder and says, don't worry, you'll do better next time. Phelan.
I thought that was pretty good.
Phelan goes... Phelan knew at least a little bit of that, and so I don't think is as bothered, perhaps, as the others, and just steps over to Mira and reaches out and takes her hand and kind of does a silent mouthing the words, "Are you okay?"
I look over at Sisk. Did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong?
I don't know.
That's
You
what
lived
happened.
in the Imperium your whole life. I don't know if you stepped on some toes. Good luck.
With the truth. Oh, do you know what? I'm gonna go take the Ysterra equivalent boat shower. Like that's what I'm gonna do. Which I assume is just a shower. I need to. Oh,
We
God.
haven't actually discussed what kind of facilities there are on the ship, and there's a good reason for that, because I don't want to go into details about that
best.
sort of thing.
It's the absolute best. It's luxury. We spent extra to have that. He's you know.
Yeah. But you head off to get a cold shower. What do the rest of you do?
Right.
I think I would. I probably talked to Serval about the plans on the walk back to the ship. So I think Mira would kind of want to go in search of Dove and just like, hey, here I've got these things. Take a look at them. Let me know what you think.
Okay. Yeah, you find Dove easily enough. You're able to kind of present him with what it is. He's kind of blown away by the details of the metallic gauntlet-like glove, and he starts peppering you with questions about, what kind of purpose do you think it will serve for you, and that sort of thing. But like overall, over the 30-40 minute conversation that you have with him, he comes away fairly positive that it's at least workable. It's just going to be a question of time and effort, really, more than anything else. And certainly says that you and Sisk will need to be heavily involved in the forging process. But what about you, Beth? What does 80 do post their arrival?
I think she'd wait for Mira to get some work done, business taken care of, and then I think she would go to talk to her. Hey, I mean, how was it out there? I know I heard the rundown, but how was it for you?
Interesting, I think. Feel more hopeful now than I did this morning, so that's good.
Yeah.
I just feel like our problems keep getting bigger, and more people are hoping that we do something about the state of things.
Yeah.
And it feels like a lot.
It is a lot. It's too much, frankly. But I think that, I don't know, it feels right. And these assholes are hurting people, and they hurt you, and they took Wren, and they've hurt so many more people, and even though it's hard, I mean, I can't sit around,
Yeah.
And we've got more people with us now for support. And, I think mostly we do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And we get really lucky.
Yeah.
How's your hand?
It's been better.
Yeah, I know. were you able to find out some way to fix it?
Yes and no. I think we can try to make this gauntlet thing, but they made sure to tell me that it's only part of the solution and that it's going to be hard.
Well, I'll be there with you for all of it.
Yeah. I messaged Dad.
Oh. What did you say? What did he say?
I just wanted to check in. Sounds like things are bad.
How bad?
Bad. He didn't go into detail about what Caden's up to, but
he's back on his bullshit, is what you're trying to say. Yeah.
and then some.
Oh, that fucking kid. How can he be like such a sweet boy and also such a tremendous asshole? Whatever. I think that's just how brothers are, right? At least ours.
Do you think it was a mistake to leave?
I don't know. At the time, it didn't feel like it. I feel like we've really... We thought that we couldn't handle all of that on our own. And so we left. And that felt fair and reasonable. And now we've come here, and they're in a situation where things are pretty messed up over here too. And now we're trying to fix things. And I wonder if we couldn't have stayed there and tried to fix things. But we can't know how it would have turned out. All we can do is, be present. And now we have to, find Wren. I wouldn't leave her here, even if we were to go back as soon as we could. Keep messaging him when you can. I know it's bad, but I just want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
I sort of fucked up really badly, in a fairly inexcusable way with Oriana. I had invited her to come into town with us, and then we just left without her. And oh God, that has to feel awful. Such a piece of shit. I can't believe. I tried to go talk to her, and she just pushed a note under the door that said not now, and so I'm going to give her space, and hopefully I can apologize another time, but
Don't give her space for too long.
I know.
It's hard to come back from that.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like we have a lot of things to figure out. Like what we're going to do next, where we're going to go, how we're going to tackle this. And you said Zyra's coming, right?
Serval sent a note.
Okay. Well, I feel like at least she seemed to be pretty trustworthy, right? So, you know.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll mean we'll get some good info from her. I don't know.
I guess we'll see.
Are you okay? I feel like we haven't talked as much lately, and I feel that you're stressed. And I mean, obviously, like, we're all, you know.
It's just different stressors. I'm always stressed. You know me.
I know. And
I
I've always
have something to fixate on, worry about. Who am I?
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to just go contemplate ways to be a good friend and wait for Zyra to come.
It'll work out.
Yeah, I hope so. All right, go read a book or something. Have some fun.
Okay, is Sisk getting up to anything here?
Anything fun? Not that I can think of.
Well, I didn't say it had to be fun. I just, wanted to know what they were doing while they're waiting for Zoranthra to show up.
I mean, I'll prepare the ship. I'm not gonna let everyone else do the work. I'm gonna help get it looking nice and prepared if we decide to leave soon.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Ooh, okay. Can I use my passive?
You can.
It's 16.
Okay.
And there's a cat rubbing up on my mic.
Good kitty.
Yeah, hi.
So part of your processes in this, I'm just going to take a little narrative control here. Part of your process is also ensuring that all of the various consoles and such in the navigation deck are aligned and tuned correctly, and giving appropriate readings to what you know to be taking place below deck in the engine room. And as you are finishing that up, you are walking back towards the stairwell that leads down below decks to head to the engine room, and you glance over the out on the horizon. You look out in that direction towards the city, and you see what you think is a brown-scaled or brown-clothed dragonborn walking away from the ship. He's pretty good distance at this point. You barely catch sight of him.
Brown?
Yes. I see brown hues because at that distance you're not able to tell exactly colors. But if you remember, you had been alerted to that situation before, where there was a dragonborn that had been accosted by the looky-loos.
And he came back again.
Well, now he's walking away. He or she is walking away from the airship, far enough away that you would have to do something purposeful and overt if you were to try to go after them.
Yeah, I think I spot them and I'm like, I think I need to talk to them. What is their deal? I'm going to kind of jump off the ship and run after them. I'm going to just sprint.
Okay. You take off at a sprint after them. You are able to catch up enough to where you can see them perhaps a little bit more clearly. Not so clear that you can like make out facial features or any of that sort of thing, but close enough that you're able to pick out that they have kind of a copper coloration to their scales. And as you're doing this at some point, because I mean they're like, you know, a half mile away from the ship at the point that you took off at a run, they look over their shoulder in your direction and see you running after them, and then take off at a run as well.
No. Okay. I thought I had booming voice for a second. I was just gonna be like, I use that. I don't know if I'm in earshot. I try to make myself look as friendly as possible as I run after them. I'm going to say, hey, can we chat? Hi.
Are you using thaumaturgy or anything to extend your voice?
I don't think I have anything to do that, unfortunately.
Okay.
I'll double check again if my cat gets off the keyboard. Thank you.
Good, Ripley. Go ahead and make a performance check at disadvantage for me.
Disadvantage? Well, I will use one of my advantages that I have to make it at least a straight roll.
A straight roll?
Please.
Okay.
Unless I can use 2 to make it an advantage.
I mean, I would suggest that you just leave it as is for now and then roll again using another advantage if you need to.
I will.
You can daisy chain them.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's see. That first one's an 8. I will use a second one.
Okay. I don't know how many you have, so.
I think I had 4 at last count, which is
4?
crazy. I will
Wow.
use them all now.
Okay.
That is a 16, which I will go with. I will leave it at that. At 2.
Okay, we'll leave it at that then. With a 16, your voice projects pretty far. Go ahead and roll an insight check for me, though.
Oh, that one's at disadvantage. I'm not going to do nothing for that one, so we'll see how that goes.
You just got another hail from Jeremy, so there's...
So maybe I should do it at a straight roll. I will do it at a straight roll.
Okay, use that advantage that Jeremy just gave you.
Yes. Good. That was a 12, which is not bad.
So with a 12, I think it is safe to say that you know distinctly the difference between a person running because they're afraid of being caught, because you've had to run like that many a time, versus a person that is running just out of fear. And they're just fleeing you out of fear.
Out of fear.
Yeah, you don't feel like your voice carried well enough to maybe they didn't fully hear you, didn't understand you, or what, but they're fleeing you.
Ripley again? Seriously? Okay. I'm just like trying to look at my character sheet, see if there's anything I can do. And she's like, can I just lie down on...
And now Raven has given you a hail to help
Perfect.
replenish some of your...
They can't feel my good intentions from this far. Can you make them roll a vibe check to feel my good feelings?
They don't have good vibes at the moment from your vibe feelings that you are putting out.
I think I give up. I just stop and I start heaving.
You stop and start heaving. As you come to a stop and start heaving, they disappear over the edge of the plateau to make their way back to the city. And as you are heaving, you're like leaning up against a tree trying to catch your breath. And you hear a very familiar voice basically right next to you, like, because you have no ability to perceive them because they are invisible. You hear the familiar voice of Zoranthra right next to you, saying, "What it is are you chasing this Dragonborn for?"
They've been coming to the ship a few times. One of the last times they got accosted by some folk from town, and I just wanted to like say hi and figure out what their deal was. But I saw them from the ship. They were just out of sight. I ran after them. It's been a long day. My brain's not working.
Okay. I did get
scared.
I did get a good look at them when I was walking past them, so I can check into that circumstance if you wish. But I received your note of the urgent summons onto your ship, so perhaps we should.
Oh, yes.
Or
Yes.
do you have your breath?
No, but we can. I'm not running back. That's at least there's that.
I would offer to take you back, but that would look strange, you flying upon something invisible.
I mean, it wouldn't be the weirdest thing that I did, but I understand. I'll meet you there.
We will walk together. I just need to remain invisible, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, of course. That's totally fine. I will, on the way back, I will fill Zoranthra in on all of the like hot goss. None of the important stuff, because like that's for everyone. But here's all the hot goss.
Give us an example of what the hot goss is.
I mean, I think one of the things that would mention is the Mira's really hardcore line that I did in the recap. Be like, Mira did this really hardcore thing, and then talking about like, oh yeah, and then I saw this weird person on the street in town, and then they were talking to this person, so I thought that they had this kind of like start going off on like weird things, some things about us, some things about them. Maybe I'll tell her about like, okay, so here is the relationship chart of everyone on the ship. They are sisters.
You have a whiteboard?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's why I was so out of breath. I was carrying it as I was running.
Right. I feel like you just have a magic extendo whiteboard with a...
Yeah, I can do a pocket space or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yes, eventually you do make it back to the ship, and as you arrive up on the ship, Zoranthra maintains her invisibility, but she does tell you, I will go below decks and await for everyone, where we can discuss what it is that you summoned me.
Sounds great. Okay.
And so,
skedaddle.
Who is in the crew deck as invisible Zoranthra makes her way? Okay. Anybody else? So, Wren, as you are... Tea? Coffee?
I think in this particular, it's tea. It's the nighttime. He's making the tea. What a fool believes. Like, you know how you sing to yourself when you're by yourself.
As you do that, you finish making the tea. You turn around and you see Zoranthra in her form as Zoranthra, just there right in front of you as you turn around.
What a fool. And it just throws the tea in the air. Oh, God. Hello.
Actually, hang on. I'm going to do a roll. I'm going to see if she's fast enough. Yeah. She snatches out an arm, and you see a mage hand grab onto the teacup. She can't stop the contents of the teacup from splashing against the wall, but she grabs onto the teacup and like mage hands it back in front of you.
Thank you. Would have been a shame if this was broken. And it's like it's like a cup from Violet. He's like, I'm just gonna put this back.
Hello. Have you been here long?
Is it
Just arrived.
tea?
Yeah, yes, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Sure, I'll make a big pot because I think there's going to be a bunch of us. Please sit. I'll get everyone else.
So everyone gets summoned, and everyone, I assume, is everyone, right? All of the crew. Oriana, Phelan, Nora. Yeah, I think Nora even brings Taryn this time. And Taryn is, of course, 12-year-old fascinated by Zoranthra, but, is good enough to understand that, he has to kind of rein it in a little bit. This is, a grown-up situation, and, this is a circumstance with Wren not being here. You feel like at this point that Nora has probably told Taryn that Wren is gone and has been taken and is in danger, and we're trying to figure out ways to get her back and that sort of thing. So as excited as Taryn is to meet Zoranthra, he is still understanding of the severity of their circumstance. So as you are all gathered up in the crew quarters, and Zoranthra is there sipping some tea, she says, "So my people within the city have been gathering all sorts of rumors about your comings and goings in the city. I understand that you had a significant journey away and back again with Shugo Terathos from the Temple of Etherian. You should know that there are many, many, many rumors spreading all across the city regarding what activities you were all up to. I'm hoping that you can enlighten me as to what the actual truth is of those activities, though. Should it be important to why you summoned me anyway?"
We found a cult. Just got to start with that. And they hurt Mira. And they took one of my crewmates, Wren.
The elven woman. I noticed that she was not here.
We have a big problem with that because we've learned from 2 former members of the cult that no one really joins of their own accord. They're more so of tortured and coerced into it. And as strong as we know Wren is, we still wouldn't want to subject her to any of that to test her strength. That's part of the big thing that's going on. Mira, would you like to explain the rest? I feel like you have a better grasp on it than I do.
I don't know that that's true.
I feel like the sigh is in and out of character. It's just like,
I could take a little bit off of it if you want.
Hit us with it, sis.
Okay. So the Korkash, I believe that's the cult, right? They, so we talked to a couple cultists who have, one of them, she basically, we knocked her down. She was dying. I was able to kind of revive her. She has managed to keep her gifts bestowed upon her, but the curse seems to be gone, which seems to be more of a mental control sort of deal. I'm jumping all over the place. But these people, they mentioned the Eternal Flame, who is a man, probably. But this all seems to... No?
Oh, the Eternal Flame.
That was a shrug. Oh.
The Eternal Flame is an ascendant.
Oh, so it is Sombrius.
Well, the
That's
Eternal
right.
Flame is Sombrius, yes. And history tells us that there have been a few cults over the eons that have come to worship Sombrius. I have heard rumors of cults operating all across, but not as many in this immediate area. You are saying that you encountered them immediately, surrounding us.
There's someone calling themselves the Umberless Flame.
Well, that does sound like a cult leader if I have ever heard one. Interesting. You challenged them? You said that you took one of them and felled them and then saved them from death. What did they wear?
I have it in my notes if anyone else remembers.
I think I'm not even gonna try. Yeah, what is
you can just say that you describe what they had been wearing. You don't have to go in. You don't have to roleplay the details of it if you wish.
Yeah, I'll describe what they were wearing. I'll also describe like where the cave was. That there are these. I mentioned the fire portals, and that they seem to have a proclivity for.
When you mention the cave and like the fire portals and the like, a furrow comes over her brow and a light kind of affixes in her eyes for a moment. You see a bit of lightning kind of roil within them, and she says, "Do you mean that they are in proximity to a convergence of ley lines?"
Not only that, they are using them to get around. They have a proclivity apparently for making fire genasi join them, because they seem to be the most able to survive the experience of going through these ley line portal things.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's very painful, but she survived.
This cannot be. What you describe is lost magics. That is, mortals have not been able to use such magics for many, many, many millennia.
I don't think it's actively just. I don't think it's just mortals using it. I think mortals are being used to hone this magic. I don't.
That is interesting.
So,
that makes these people very, very dangerous. And also, it is worth mentioning that I have heard of similar cultists, revenant as they had been described to me before, those that would seek death and destruction for different purpose. I have heard of them elsewhere within Cavalia.
I mean, well, to add to that, these people don't even know truly that they're doing this. They're being, their mind is being shadowed from like actual thought, but when they come away from it, they're just left with the pain and the guilt of everything they've done.
So they are being dominated, cursed.
Yeah.
That would explain a few things from Thazir then.
What did Fazir say?
Thazir is a ally of mine. Some time ago now, a little less than a season, a little less than a year, he described to me a group of individuals that he met within the Narujin. Have you heard of the Narujin? And Zyra seems to be directing that to Sisk because she knows that Sisk has been to here before. Go ahead and make a history check for me.
History. I got a +5, so as long as I roll really nice, I got a 13.
You have heard the name of the Narujin, and it's a very, very, very massively large swamp area in the far southeastern corner of Kuvalia. So, while she says Narujin, it could be quite a lot, but you do recognize the name.
That's the kind of swampland.
Oh.
Yes, it
I
is.
assume they're here.
It is the wetlands, a wetlands region of Kuvalia, far to the east. This is where my ally Fazir and his kin have taken residence. When they arrived, shortly after escaping their situation and arriving within the Narujin, they encountered this group of wielders of dark flame, powerful arcanists and warriors that used significant magics, and it nearly killed many of Thazir's kin. But in the end, they were able to drive them off. But not before they saw some significant scarring to the land. Flame-burned areas of the Narujin that were only capable of being done by magic. No natural phenomenon that any know of could have shapen the land in such ways. They've been working tirelessly for months now to try and heal the lands from it. And they have encountered a handful of these dark flame individuals in that time, in that intervening time, and had to drive them off again and again. I am not certain what that means, but he posited that something in the Narujin is drawing them in like moths to flame. I would be willing to send a message to him should you wish to go and investigate that circumstance and potentially find some other bearings for where to find these Kurukash, as you have named them.
Yes, if it would help, absolutely.
Do you have any other possibilities to explore to find your friend?
We were thinking about going to the anvil in the Ember Holds.
As soon as you say that, her eyes go wide. And, like, you even see her mouth go slightly agape. The most shocked expression ever to come out of this supremely composed woman. And she just stares at you. The anvil, yes, that is a very powerful place. Why would you go there specifically?
Apparently to be changed.
Well, yes, the anvil is the fulcrum of change for the entirety of the world. Before dragons served the people of this world, there was a great and devastating war that existed. Giant kind and dragons fought each other for dominance of Ysterra, and many of the lesser races, well, it was not good for them. The anvil was a place where the Ascendant gathered. It was a place of significance to many, but none more so than Vimredale. He sought all dragonkind to come there. And with the help of Raidaus, He changed Dragonkind forever. He ended the devastating conflict with giants and brought peace to this realm, and ever since, the Anvil has been the place where the Ascendant have gone and brought anything that needs changing. Mortals that have made the journey, which is difficult to say the least, have always come back from that place changed. But you are saying that these Kurakash have visited the Anvil.
I can't remember. My notes just it goes from what was the thing right before that.
You're muted, Ian.
I think they were trying to get there, from what I can remember.
So yeah, above table, out of character, you do remember, although slightly, incoherent because of Daeron's babblings a bit, Daeron did describe actually going to the Anvil himself, with being taken there by the Emberless Flame and other cultists.
Thank you. I will. So, one of our cultist friends. So one the cultist that I saved or revived. She was the one who had, I think, the memories of going through the ley lines, and the other one was someone that was already at the temple that had been kind of had their mind returned to them, but he's changed. He remembers while under the thrall being taken with the Emberless Flame and other cultists to the Anvil, which is concerning to say the least.
Say the least.
So that's a possibility. We were also, the woman who went through the portal, through the ley lines, she had been taken and kidnapped effectively from, I think it was Takanoru.
Yes.
So we were thinking that's like, I think our most tangible lead, that they grabbed her there. But.
I wish I could be a better arbiter of your decisions in this matter, but it sounds to me, if you wish to get your friend back, you all three seem reasonable to investigate to try to locate these cultists.
That's the plan. So, do you know of a way to safely travel the ley lines?
No. As I had explained, that was lost magic. Whatever gifts have been bestowed to these cultists to allow them to do this, it likely comes at great sacrifice. As you described, there is pain and suffering and fire and burning and such from such journeys. And I imagine that it probably kills more of them than survive it.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Miko, where's Takanoru compared? So we got the Emberholds, which I think was just south, and then southeast.
Yes, so if you think of Kuvalia is huge, right? But it is oblong, kind of like how how the United States within North America is oblong, right? The Anvil, the mountains that the Anvil is located in, takes up the entirety of the southern region of the country, and the Anvil is right in the center of that, right? The Narujin is furthest south and east of the country, kind of at the crux of the two mountain ranges that come together. There's an eastern mountain range and then the southern mountain range, and they come together and form a corner, and in that corner is the Narujin. And then the Takanoru, the little town, I will say that even if I don't remember if we detailed exactly where it was before, but even if you had to consult maps and such, which you have access to, you would be able to discover that that is also east, but more kind of in like the center. It's in the way that we refer to the Midwest of the United States, it's in the Mid-East of Kuvalia, right? It's about in the middle of, bumfuck nowhere, in sort of the eastern regions of Kuvalia. So no matter what, you have to go east because, well, west takes you back out into the oceans. Oh. And you could just run. You could absolutely just run, but...
We should run. No, that's not fun. Okay. If you could excuse us one moment, Zaranthra, I'd like to speak to my friend. And then kind of looks at Sisk. Could you come over here real quick?
Am I in trouble?
No. I want to see if we're thinking the same thing. This feels like a situation to where we're going to have to throw ourselves in the pit.
You want to do that right away?
I mean, no, I really don't want it to be a right away thing, but I feel like it's going to happen.
It takes a moment. You see them like kind of scanning. And then I feel it. I got a pit in my stomach. I think you might be right.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure if I was the only one thinking it.
Let's try to put it off if we can, but we'll have to prepare, I guess.
Yeah, we will. Okay. Goes back. Anything else? And like looks at the twins because they've been quiet this entire time. Like, about everything.
What are the twins doing?
I think 80 initially was a little distracted because Zyra looks like that.
Out of the gutter. Come on.
I just no. It
just like this. Hello.
She would have refocused.
Would
Her
she have?
horns are up here. Okay.
Listen, wasn't leering. Okay, just
Just drooling a little out of the corner of her mouth.
Listen, I think as much as she feels like she has grown and feels comfortable like handling things on the ship, I think as far as like decision making as to where the next stop is feels like somebody else's responsibility to her. So I think she's just been listening and trying to figure out what her thoughts are regarding all of it.
I think Mira has been sitting and listening to the discussion and just feels like there's a lot of like opportunity in the various things being discussed, and I think she's worried about going through kind of I think she's worried about following the sort of following the cultists in the path that they took. She had enough experience with powerful magic, hand to stone, that she is, I think, hesitant to follow those pathways and tunnels. I think she would probably speak up and be like, I don't know. I'd rather have as much knowledge about what we're getting into as we can, and knowing the power and the energy that we've already seen, it could be amplified in there.
I think what I'm concerned with is that we don't know where to go. And even if we did know where to go, we wouldn't know what to ask. Like, what do we ask? How do we defeat an Ascendant?
We can start with the basics, like infiltrating any organization. You start at the bottom level. So we could start by going to Takanoru, seeing what we find there, like the physical stuff, see if we can find these kidnappers, and then we can loop down to Narujin. Hopefully we'll have an idea of what we're doing, and then we can go finish our loop at the Ember Holds, go to the Anvil for a little jaunt, and then we'll come back here for a victory lap.
And then do what?
Then kill an Ascendant? I don't know.
Zaranthra actually chimes up when you say that and says, just to be perfectly clear, you are dealing with a cult. You are not dealing with an Ascendant. If you were dealing directly with an Ascendant, this circumstance would be very, very different.
How so?
Well, first of all, it is against every tenet of an Ascendant, even one such as Sombrius, to not foster the evolution of this world. And from what it sounds like that you are describing, and what little information that I know of these cultists, they seek to devastate and change this world in flame and darkness. That is not something that the Ascendant, any Ascendant, much less Sombrius, espouses. I do not believe that you are dealing with Sombrius. You are dealing with mortal individuals whose faith has been corrupted in some way. Now, they are drawing power from something, but that is not necessarily by the will of the Ascendant. It is entirely possible that whatever circumstances that they have gone through, and going to the Anvil can certainly be one part of that process, has changed these people in fundamental ways. So I would caution you to be careful what you approach. You are not fighting an Ascendant. You are fighting mortals. Powerful mortals they may be, but you are fighting mortals. Now, as far as this, the pathways that are on the ley lines, your vessel might be strong enough to navigate such a pathway if you could find one that could fit it. But be advised that lost magics are lost for a reason. Most mortals cannot survive their use. So I would not suggest merely tossing yourself into a pit and hoping that you end up in the destination that you need to be as a viable solution to your problem.
Fine. Well, other than trying to kill an Ascendant and jumping into fiery holes, how's my plan sound?
It's sound. It's the soundest thing we have right now. Okay. Who? Because it's still a bunch of people here. Who objects to what Sis has as a plan?
Who objects to it? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Aaron, starts to raise his hand and then realizes what you said because he was confused by it and then puts his hand back down.
Oh, are you sure? Do you have something better? No? Okay. Everybody gets an equal say here. Okay. Perfect. I guess just for the sake of doing, who's down with it?
Dove kind of looks at you quizzically for a moment and says, you mean down with the whole circle and then victory lap thing? Okay, just making sure we're not talking about going into a fiery pit or anything like that, because I'm not down for that.
I would be so clear if that was the case. I wouldn't cover that up with any anything.
It's not the thing you want to be ambiguous about.
Exactly. Right. I would out loud go, who would be down to jump down the fiery pit of pain? Those words exactly.
Good. And that's not what you're saying. So
no.
As you say that, Dove and Nora and Taryn all raise their hand. Takes a few. There's this strange confusion about just thinking things through, Phelan raises their hand as well. Oriana, who has been very quiet through all of this, just looks at you, Wren, locks you with their eyes, and you actually see their third eye in the center of their forehead open. And they just nod at you, yes.
Oh. I'm going to take that as a great sign. Okay, perfect.
Ooh, can we also make a pit stop and see some of the water genasi? Are they blue? I look at Sarandra, I'll ask her if they're blue.
As you say that, she just kind of has a wry smile on her face, and she says, if you visit the Narujin, you will. What would you like me to tell Thazir about your journey? Is there anything you wish me to not say? You should know that I trust Thazir with my life. He is a trusted companion, so if you trust me with any information, I feel that you can trust him.
Then don't leave anything out.
Very well.
Just for curiosity's sake, and because, we're in the mood. Is Thazir similar to you?
No.
No? Okay, cool.
Thazir is a water genasi, like most of his kin. And...
in town?
No, in the Narujin.
We've said a lot today, I'm sorry.
Good thing you're not the navigator.
Nope, that's that one. And then points at 80.
I'm
you
a
now.
Helper. I mean,
helper.
I mean, technically speaking, I think 80 is responsible for the helm now that Wren isn't there. Wasn't 80 the backup helm?
Yeah,
we had that. Yeah.
Aye, Captain.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't get much done.
You made the decision.
Else?
It sounds like. Sometimes just making a decision can be the hardest thing that you do in a journey.
The plan will change, but we gotta make one to start.
There is one thing about plans. It is that the best ones change and adapt. So, is there anything else that I can do for you?
No, I think that's it. We appreciate your willingness to come and speak with us and your help.
Out of curiosity, I do have an additional question. These Kurakash, in any of your dealings that you have discovered so far, do you know of other places in which they are operating? Or rumored to be operating? I feel it is important to ask such things because I have, in my many centuries of life, I have come to the conclusion that most groups such as this cannot operate without powerful individuals supporting them.
Okay. So I see basement and artisan shop. So look in artisan shop basements for the Kurakash.
Oh, because that
Yes.
is wonderfully
Okay.
specific. Yes, that is perfectly specific. I will, of course, scour all artisan
welcome.
shops from east to west.
No, there's a more specific one. We talked about opening a bakery there.
But only Kuvalia so far has not apparently gotten out of Kuvalia, but I think what Lyria, I don't remember her name now,
Wren
was saying was that they wanted to start traveling in the skies to like spread, I think. So
Well, you also got a bit of that information from the journals as well.
okay. Yeah.
Journal entries.
Oh, that might be it then. Well, that's
But
I
Loren
will
did,
mention that to her
Loren did
too.
say it, yeah.
Zareth, I have a question. What's the relationship between Dragonborn and sorry, apparently people call him all outside my apartment. Now I can't remember his name. The Ascendant that we named.
Vimerdale? No.
No,
Sombrius?
not Vimerdale. Sombrius. What's the relationship between Dragonborn and Sombrius? Is it a respectful one? Is it a non-existent one? Adversarial? Compared to like Vimredal, who
Vimredale is
like-
by far the most popular of all the ascendants for Dragonborn to worship.
Mm.
However, Dragonborn are like anyone else, they can worship freely. And it would not surprise me if there was not a handful or more that are worshippers of Sombrius.
with this cult being clouded by their judgment and their connection to Sombrius and the ways in which they decide to recruit, wouldn't it make more sense to have more Dragonborn because of your resilience?
Perhaps. But I not all Dragonborn are resistant to flame, if that is what you mean. Those that are, though,
Right, but
I mean, it could make sense. But
it
it's-
wouldn't. Your kind wouldn't be easy to convince, I feel.
My kind, yes, but remember, Dragonborn are not my kind. We are cousins, in a way, but we are very different. Dragonborn are no different from you when it comes to mind and soul. But I can tell you with perfect alacrity that the mind of a dragon is far different. We think of things in myriad ways, and it is not always easy for us to connect to, no offense, those of your kind.
It's fine. No offense taken. So would it be easy to discern that Dragonborn, whether your specific lineage or other lineages they're on, it would be dangerous for them to be, I guess, impopulous if this group was to essentially take over or recruit.
Well, Dragonborn in Kuvalia right now are suffering tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
So it would not surprise me to learn that a cult would want to take advantage of that. So, while you may not have encountered any Dragonborn as of yet, would not be surprised to find some Dragonborn amongst their number. They are a vulnerable people right now. And if I know anything of cults, it is that they prey upon the vulnerable.
It's just that you had mentioned something just now that I guess got my brain going.
Well, I am glad. I like to inspire brain activity as much as I possibly can.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Absolutely not.
I'm sorry.
Mira,
your captain
puts a
says
hand
no.
to Bren's face and just pushes him away.
I was joking.
Have you heard of someone named the Pale Herald?
As you say that, you actually see the complexion of her skin and the scales even that wrap around the edges of it change. They become more pale, in fact. And a look of shock comes across her face. How do you know that name?
It was mentioned by one of the cultists that we interviewed. She said he wasn't Kurakash. He didn't bear any of their marks or have the same sort of affectation that they do, but he was aligned with this one that calls himself the Umberless Flame.
I apologize for the severity with which I ask this, but now I must know the exact details of the person that gave you this knowledge. I must speak to them.
She is at the temple.
Wait a minute. Before, why? Why so important to speak to them directly?
The Pale Herald is a name that is only known in few minds on this world. The Pale Herald is the name of an individual very closely associated with the Emperor. He is his vizier.
That goes back to what my thought was. Mira, go ahead and continue.
The Pale Herald is
If you want to.
a practitioner of magic that is virtually unparalleled. There are very few that can match his knowledge and understanding of the arcane.
Would you say that they would be keen in lost old magic?
No, even that is beyond his knowledge. Thankfully. From what I know of this Pale Herald, which is the name for those that he strikes the most fear in. He has been attempting to discover such things as that for quite some time, and has failed, thanks in no small part to my kind.
The cult's being backed by the Emperor.
I do not see how that connection can be so affirmative in the way you express it.
The Pale Herald is somebody who is obviously a close confidant to the Emperor, right? They're practicing, or they're trying to practice, or have done so, to obtain this whatever magic that obviously your kind pose a danger to. Your Emperor does not like Dragonborn or your kind specifically, so force them out of the area. Come on. Am I the only one? Here's my whiteboard.
I can certainly follow your logic, but unfortunately, without proof of anything, it is irrelevant. If anything, it only enforces the notion that you must be even more cautious.
I'm going to stand on this soapbox. I think that's what's happening.
And I will not entirely dispute it, but I will tell you to be careful in what company you say such things.
Oh, no, absolutely.
And be careful of what actions you take. If it becomes known, even rumored, that you are moving against the Emperor, you will find the might of Kuvalia swiftly leveled upon you.
That is a good point. I did want to bring that up because you mentioned some rumors. What do you suggest we do to kind of move public opinion that we're kind of neutral without having to do anything awful, or like so that we can try to move a little bit more under the radar, or at least not raise as many flags?
Yeah, there is no such thing as you being unnoticed when you are flying a vessel like this.
But like maybe a little less suspicious, like liking Dragonborn and stuff. Although I guess we're gonna keep talking to Dragonborn and stuff, so it's not gonna help.
I could only caution you to maybe practice a sense of wonder and fascination with the land of Kuvalia. Become sightseers. Seek out information about the most interesting places of Kuvalia and let it be known loudly that you are venturing to all of the wondrous sights and marvels that the magical lands of Kuvalia have to offer. That would be my suggestion. And if that is the course you wish to take, I can perhaps aid in the dissemination of such rumor as that.
Sounds good to me. Anyone else remember anything fun? Do you have a recipe that you came up with?
Don't ask
Brent's
Mira.
still
She
stuck
can't
on
cook for shit.
Ah!
The one thing that she can't do.
No, I think we've gotten everything that we need so far to help us kind of get us going.
So you are headed to Takanoro then?
Yeah.
I will send over some additional maps. I will try to have them here as quickly as I can. I understand that you wish to depart with haste, and I will not make you wait upon me as best as I can do. Are there other resources that I might have at my disposal that I could lend aid?
I mean, a list of all the best tourist places of Kuvalia would be a great place to start. We're probably going to be going back into the city to at least talk to our other friend Ganthelrook. Say bye at least, and then...
While you're on that journey, I would recommend stopping in perhaps a few of the cartographers' places within the town and audibly requesting as much information as you can, even if it is about places you do not intend to visit. Let them think you are intending to visit them.
I can do that.
Actions such as that, you will find, will spread quickly. If there is one thing that can be said about Kuvalia, is that there is no fire that can burn faster than that of a rumor spread. I would also have a request.
Okay, yes.
After you finish with Takenoro and you venture into the wetlands of Narujin, you will find the people there that are in many ways broken. People suffering tremendously at what transpired to lead them into their solitude. And Thazir is a good man, but I think that even he does not know what to do next. If you could find any kind of way to offer them hope in a bleak existence, in a land in which they have exiled themselves, I would be most appreciative. That would be all of the recompense and more for all of the aid that I might give now and in the future.
Absolutely. I think we can do that.
Very well. I would also advise that if it is at all possible to hide the direction in which you travel from sight, from those that might be looking up at the sky when you travel in the direction of Narujin, please do your best to use such device. It is known by those in power that the Waldridge Nazi have taken refuge in Narujin. And if it is seen that you are traveling there, and that word spreads to the Emperor or to his minions, it could be misconstrued as you moving against the Emperor. So be cautious.
I'll do my best. Thank you, Saranthra, again.
You are welcome. If there is nothing else, I will leave you.
You have a good evening. Thank you again.
Safest journeys to you. I have a strong feeling that change is coming, Kuvalia. She just kind of smiles softly and nods her head as she starts making her way up the stairs. You see her use a bit of magic. She vanishes from sight, not just from, going along the stairs, but slightly before she would go out of your normal vision. She poofs in a display of magic, and you feel the ship rock for a moment after she disappears.
I was going to ask that, like if the ship goes off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
80
Nice.
Distinctly hears the sound of powerful wings buffeting. A few things on the deck probably get knocked over inadvertently.
Do you all realize how many dragons we are active friends with?
One and a little one.
Oh, yeah. Fair.
Right?
That's true.
Right? No, right?
Yeah,
actually...
Pseudo dragon.
Dragonborn.
What about the one that... Yeah, the one... See? This is just proving what I'm saying. Like, we have a lot of cool friends. Wild Night. Hey, folks.
I want to go to bed. I want to go to bed for 3 seasons.
Right. Yeah, I think we're in for some rest. For sure. How's everybody feeling?
As everyone kind of, stands up and whatnot, Dove just kind of looks at you, looks at Bren, and says, "Before suns rise, then."
Yeah, I want to get out as early as we can.
Okay.
Before they go their separate ways to go to sleep and stuff, I think 80 would find Mira and just say, "Hey, do you want to have a sister sleepover tonight?"
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I will steal snacks if I can.
You don't have to steal snacks, just don't.
It's more fun if I get to steal snacks, okay? I'm stealing the snacks.
As you say that, you see Taryn disappearing around a corner, just like pocketing a couple of cookies, just like nodding.
You're all on the same page.
Just surrounded by children. Okay. Okay. I feel like Brett is just standing there as everyone files out. He's over.
I think the last one to file out, unless Sisk lingers, Phelan kind of just claps Bren on the back a bit, just gives him a little bit of smile before they head down the hallway.
Honestly, I think Brent just goes to his chair. He's just like, oh, just sits there.
And as Bren collapses into his chair, everyone heading off in their own directions for an evening's rest, having, at the moment anyway, determined their bearings. We'll call it there for the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was a wonderful session of amazing role-playing, as always, and I greatly appreciate everyone here at my table. I love all of you.